That's it. Okay. So our guests today, Laura Lee Kenny and Conrad Brem. Laura Lee Kenny is an author, a speaker, financial and retirement specialist. She focuses on asset protection and financial education with systems and structures to make better money decisions. Laura Lee has been impacting her clients, family, and friends for over 25 years as a financial planner specializing in retirement planning and setting up multiple streams of income along the way. Today, as a financial business growth expert in More Value Now, she embraces a new abundance mindset and helps transform and grow business. Laura Lee joins us today from New Brunswick, Canada. And with us, we have Conrad Brem. He's the founder of More Value Now and Mind Framing, located in the US, Canada, and Serbia. And he has developed other companies in different industries and countries. More Value Now is an international boutique consulting firm that helps business owners grow their companies in a better and predictable way. Conrad joins us today from Serbia. Please join us in welcoming Laura Lee Kenny and Conrad Brem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So you guys are on. Go for it.
Conrad, you take the lead. I think they'd love to learn more about ChatGPT, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one that's a lot of conversation these days. So yeah, and I know that's something you're pretty tuned into, Conrad. So feel free to kind of enlighten us a little bit there, and we'll move from there.
Okay, perfect. We figured that out, that a lot of small business owners are very interested in that topic, because, well, it will definitely change the way we do business, and beyond businesses will also have a big impact on our life in general. So that's why with More Value Now, we do every month a ChatGPT event to help our clients and everyone else to get up of speed and to get all the insights what's happening in regards to ChatGPT, because there's so much. And ChatGPT is just one part of it when it comes to artificial intelligence. So I like to say, like, it's like a dog and a poodle. So ChatGPT is the poodle and artificial intelligence is the dog. So every poodle is a dog, but not every dog is a poodle. But every now is now using ChatGPT as the go-to word. And for those of you who are not that familiar with it, what it does is basically it is kind of your personal assistant that is available 24 hours for you, and you can use it totally free, and you can have a conversation and you ask questions and you get answers. So ChatGPT has all the information and details up to 2020, and just recently it got upgraded to the newest version. So it's now almost up to date to 2022, and then very soon 2023. And it means that whenever you need something, well, in the past you went to Google search and you use Google. Now you can go to ChatGPT and can ask questions. What's the difference? You can use the result, and then you can just go forward and ask another questions, and ChatGPT knows the previous conversations, and then we'll take that in consideration. So that's the real important part of it. And then in addition, you can also use it as a search engine with your own articles, with your own databases and so on. How does that look like? So let's say you have an archive on your own server. So what you do is you go to ChatGPT, you put that link to your archive in it, and then literally in real time, ChatGPT can go into your archive, search it, and gets the data out of it.
Oops, we lost Conrad. So I guess I'm up until he comes back. It is really unique, this ChatGPT. It was just new to me. In investment industry over 10 years ago, they had told us that if you want to invest any money in a higher risk investment, the newest thing coming up will be AI technology. And we looked around, watched for a little bit of it, and the most we saw of it was on TV shows. Like, we did not really see it in the industry, but it was behind the scenes. So in November, when they started really talking about it for mainstream, I was like, well, finally, we're going to get to see and understand this a little bit more. Oh, Conrad's back now. You can continue now. I just gave them some back history. You're muted again, Conrad.
There you go. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, and before I go into a 100% monologue, I would like to get some feedback from you. Is this what I've shared so far with you? Is this new, or is this something you knew already? Just give me
Maybe put it in the chat, and I'll tell you what they say, Conrad.
Well,
yes.
I can tell you that
Okay.
the answer is it's new enough that we've had a number of conversations, or I've had a number of conversations with people that are talking about what it is, things that they've heard, people asking ChatGPT to write a book for them in the voice of somebody, and or writing copy for marketing copy, those kinds of things. The way I view it is it kind of replaces Randy, because it just keeps it asks questions, or you ask questions and it gives you answers. So
Right.
so anyway, so why don't you we're very, consider this. I mean, I'm looking around here, I don't know everybody, and Dr. Shelby, I don't think we got a chance to meet you, so I'm going to ask you, just because you're here, to open your mic and tell us what you know about ChatGPT, or any questions that you have so far, and then that way, and you can also introduce yourself. You'll need to unmute though.
At the top of the screen, Shelby.
Nope, the host did it for me, kind of asked for it. Hi, I'm Dr. Shelby Decker, and I'm a consultant for nonprofits and also small businesses. I am a freelancer with More Value Now, and with ChatGPT, I have used it many, many times since being introduced to it just recently, and primarily of researching, updating certain reports that have been given to us. One of the reports, I went to an event and they presented information that was up to 2019. And we all know what happened in 2020. It kind of altered everyone's plans. So I put in some of the information that I wanted more, and I just put from 2020 to present. And it had greatly produced an updated version of everything. In addition to that, I have helped small business owners design their business plans by putting in specifically what they are, who their target market is, and other things. So it's been a great resource with that, and also with marketing content.
Awesome. That's good, and welcome.
Can I ask a question, David?
Well, of course, Randy. That's why you're here.
So I just did a quick Google search on ChatGPT, and one thing popped up that I thought was unusual. It said, "Is it safe to use ChatGPT?" And a brief statement, there's no doubt about it. ChatGPT is a pretty phenomenal tool. However, the AI bot could cause real-world harm. Would you care to comment on that?
Yeah, well, what's the harm? So, well, ChatGPT by itself is safe. However, you still need to verify the results. So because if you ask the wrong question, or if you ask the question the wrong way, then obviously you don't get the results you may looking forward to. So that's one way, but it can cause harm. I don't really see it unless, well,
It says the model has the
let's
potential to spread misinformation. Now, any
yes,
tool you put today can spread misinformation.
correct, and that's the point. So let's put it that way: if you have a kitchen knife, so as long as you use the knife in the kitchen, then it's a great tool. But at the same time, you always can use it to murder someone.
Good point.
So if you misplace it, then the kitchen knife is not what it's supposed to be. And the same with ChatGPT. If you use it in the wrong way, then yes, you can do a lot of harm, and it can cause a lot of harm.
Okay, thank you.
What people don't know that much, because what people may not know that much, is when it comes to IT. So ChatGPT has also the power to write code. So basically, if you are a software developer and you develop applications, so you can do this now in a very short period of time, and even people who don't have a clue how to write code can use ChatGPT, because ChatGPT will just write the code for you. And that's one of the big powerful tools and the potential of it.
Okay, thank you.
So that's all.
I didn't mean to
Also, when we talk about small businesses and how they can. Sorry.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
It's okay. Keep going, Conrad.
Yeah.
He was just saying he didn't mean to derail the talk.
Okay. So when it comes to process automation and workflows, so now we have a new era that even when you are not that familiar with software, you can now start talking to ChatGPT, like a tool like ChatGPT, and what you have in mind and what you want to accomplish. And the tool like ChatGPT will transform and convert your thoughts literally in code that can be processed. So you can write now application without knowing how to do that. So that's one of the most powerful features. People are not aware of that exists now. So, and that's where, when it comes to small businesses, that's where the real power kicks in when it comes to automation, workflows, and scaling and growing in a very short period of time. So what you had to wait on for a year or so, you can do this now in a couple of days or in a couple of weeks. So that's how powerful it is.
I think Conrad's frozen again there for a second. Some people have
and
taken
that's the reason why. Okay.
Go ahead, Conrad. I was just filling in. I thought you were frozen.
Go for it, Lauralee.
I was just going to comment about some people
ahead,
had put together their courses. They knew the information, but sometimes you're not being able to articulate correctly or effectively with other people. And it's wonderful if you know the background itself so that you can know whether or not that's correct information. But we talked to a couple of people that came on some of the training that we've been doing. And one young lady, she said that English wasn't her first language. And all of a sudden, what took her 2.5 days, she could put in and have it done in a couple of hours. Like, it was amazing. I had another friend that put together his course that he had been working on, and I've known him for 1.5 years, and so I know he's been working on it 1.5 years, and he finally got it done really quickly once he used this application.
Yeah, I've been fascinated by how the Nigerian prince is really a better master of the English language now since ChatGPT. So my phishing emails and texts have gotten much higher quality. So that really, makes me feel better about ChatGPT. But Bernie, go ahead. You need to unmute, Bernie.
Okay, can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Okay, two things. One is it's my understanding that usage is what increases the IQ of ChatGPT. Is that true? Oh, in the next 5 years from now, it will be able to do 10 times more. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, I mean, the power is already there, and they would scale it up consistently. So it's not a linear line, so it goes exponentially.
Okay, so Randy, yes, it's going to be a problem up ahead in terms of being able to replicate all intellectual capital. And the second thing, it's not the end of the road. ChatGPT is not the end of the road for AI. I'm more concerned about deepfake. Now, deepfake makes a personal video, okay, a Frankenstein personal video. So they take 5 or 10 seconds of me and turn it into a 1 hour of me talking to you. And that's going to create a lot of problems.
Well, so when we want to talk about problems, then we talk about identity, because there's no way that you can find out who is who anymore, because AI can replicate your voice. AI can just sound like you. Someone looks like you, is talking like you. So that's what we're talking about. And it's already a given that it's just a matter of when, but not if. So it's already clear that every one of us will have a virtual replication of you. So even in workforce, so McKinsey did the research on that. So in the near future, every one of us will have a twin, a virtual twin, and the virtual twin will be like 100% connected to you, unless you disconnect yourself. But yeah, then you take you out of business basically. So that's where we're heading to with this new kind of technology. So you literally exist twice.
Okay, so
I know that sounds scary.
Could you repeat that, Conrad? We didn't catch all of that last little bit, just before you said do things twice.
Okay, so I'm not sure what you could hear and what you couldn't. What I tried to say is that in the very near future, every one of us will have a virtual twin.
Yeah, and I think that can be a problem. One of the things I would like to do, if I have permission for everybody here, is I realize that with any change, whether it's this platform versus Zoom, this is not my first rodeo. I've been dealing with new technology for 45 years and making it work for things. There's always risk and there's always change. And there's not a lack of angst about that from anybody. In fact, the majority of people are going to be a little concerned. What I would like for us to focus on is at this very, what I would call early stage, although things are moving very fast, I would like for us to focus on the possible application of a technology like ChatGPT to help us improve our businesses, our ability to communicate, our ability to refine and expand our impact and our message. Is that okay? Can we focus on that rather than all of the social things? Because frankly, Wikipedia is a piece of crap. I mean, you know, it's been around for a long time. I mean, there's always that, and that's human. That's people putting in information that is not right. But people, you know, as I always say, you know, you have to filter things through a few brain cells for them to have value. So even when it's created by AI or ChatGPT, there's going to be risks. And so I would like to all assume, for this discussion at least, that we're all adults and we're all thinking about possibilities, not on problems. Is that okay? Can we do that? Okay. All right. So that's the question I have on the table, is not what harm could it do, which is kind of what's featured right now, but what are the possible applications? Shelby had mentioned some applications that she had used. I'm very curious about writing a book, writing a script, writing an offering document for, you know, whatever, my company, a proposal, whatever it might be. Do we have examples of that? Because I don't, but I've heard some.
I just got reconnected. What was your question, David?
Laura Lee, you want to summarize? It was too
Sure.
long.
Yeah.
Okay.
David was hoping that we could give them some examples of writing or improving our writing, our copy, and how using ChatGPT would save us time, energy, money, etc. in our businesses.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, you can use it for writing proposals. You can use it for creating social media content, landing pages, writing emails. You can even write articles with it in no time. So how it works is you give instructions to ChatGPT and let it know who you're supposed to be. So let's say you're saying you are a content writer and you're writing for a magazine. And then you can add to it what kind of tone should be used. Should it be highly professional? Should it be more funny, and so on? So you can set the tone, and then with that you give instructions. It's called prompts. So you put in the prompts, and with that information, ChatGPT is taking that and transforming that into results. So we did that. We use it for ourselves and also for our clients now, by writing those prompts. And that means also we use an application, so the client can install the application. We write the prompts and send the prompts over to them. They open the application, they import the prompts and press enter, and then they get all the results.
And it's so fast. It's just like a few seconds later and it pops, and it's so interesting to think how fast it is. Like you get the answers back faster than it took you to type the question in. It's really unique.
You can also use this for simulations. So for instance, let's say you have a new business idea. And now you're saying basically you have some information, some data, some statistics, and then you give ChatGPT some parameters on that and say, okay, you have this much cash, you have this much on labor available, and then you give ChatGPT links where they can grab all the other details. and then you can say, just give me a prediction and simulation for the next 3 years.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's where the power comes in, and that you can use it for accounting, financial statements, cash flow planning, financial planning. So all that can be done literally in real time.
Very cool. So, but before we go to expand it beyond ChatGPT, so fundamentally, how do we kind of begin to get familiar with use of the tool? Because I know there's people on here that are not actively using ChatGPT. Obviously, Laura Lee and Conrad and Shelby, your team, you're using that to increase and provide more value now. I'll use your brand. So tell me how we can kind of begin to get our brain around that.
Right. So, well, for one, we do our monthly sessions. Those are free. So every month, the second Tuesday of the month, we come up with new topics. So for instance, next month's topic in April is how you can grow your business from 6 to 7 figures by using ChatGPT. And so every month we do a session like this. So then we also add new services where people can use our services to speed up and level up their availability, because typically business owner, they need the results, they need the outcome. They don't really need to know how, they just need to know what's the outcome. And as with everything, the more often you use it, the better you become. But if it's not really what you want to do, then it's easier that you work with a company like us and we do this for you. And you just, yeah, if someone is saying, hey, Conrad, we need the financial projection for the next 3 years, so then we can do this rather than they try to figure it out how to use ChatGPT for that. But we can also teach them how to use it. So that's the kind of a framework. Basically, do it yourself, do it with us, or we do it for them.
Bernie, did you have a question?
Yes. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, it's a little muffled, but yes.
What job title, if I wanted to hire somebody on staff who knew much more than I do, what would I post? What would be the job name that I would post?
Good question. I mean, it's total I would say the best you can do is when you look for someone who is an expert in research, because basically you're putting together data and information that is already out there. So yeah.
Would it be an AI programmer? Would that be a more generic term?
The programmer doesn't necessarily, well, it depends what you're looking for. If you want to create software, then yes. If you want to develop your own application, then yes, you want to go for a programmer. But the point is, if you just need the results, like data, like information, then you don't need a programmer, because that's what ChatGPT does even better than any programmer out there.
Okay, thank you.
Does that answer the question, Bernie?
Yes, it does.
Okay, Edna, you had your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm turned on. Okay, so Conrad mentioned that he does a training each month. Where would I find that information?
Yeah, thank you. So we're happy to share the link with you. But at the moment, basically you can, well, what's the best way, Laura Lee? The easiest way is to send us an email, or, yeah, that's the best way.
What we'll do, I'll make it easier. What we'll do is once we've completed this mastermind, any links or to any of the sessions that you have, free or otherwise, that you want me to share, I will put in the show notes, which will have probably about at least 500 engagements with this mastermind post event. So that way, not only the people that are here, but people who will engage with us later in the week or whatever, they'll get as well. That makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, well, I can put it in the chat. So if you send an email to ChatGPT at morevaluenow.com, then we add you automatically to our list, and then we send out the invitations every month, because the monthly events, they're free, like I said, and then you get access to the recordings. And we do have a Telegram channel as well, where we post prompts and best use cases and things like that. So if you go to t.me/more-value-now, that's where you can find us on Telegram, and you can join the channel. Again, both topics are free.
Okay. All right. So as you figured out, we're a pretty engaged group here, Conrad. So I know there was some prepared content or slides that you were going to kind of share with us a little bit here. So we've kind of hit on the ChatGPT. Obviously, that's a tool that has a lot of interest, and we may actually, for the people that are on this mastermind, after now just having this amount of conversation, we may have a follow-on discussion specifically on ChatGPT just to talk about it. So anybody here, if you're just been curious and you want to start engaging with More Value Now or just with the tool itself, go ahead and do that, and we'll schedule a mastermind in a week or two to kind of talk about our experiences and expand our thinking a little more. So, but I want to give Randy, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I clicked on the two links. Thank you very much. You can send him and he'll send you information. But what would be interesting would be the applications of where this could be used and how we can promulgate that with our group and get other people to invest in terms of intellectually invest in this and be able to solve problems that we have as businessmen and women.
Yeah, that's what we basically do with our monthly sessions, and then with our clients one-on-one, because the point is here now, it's the real answer to your question is more about, you want to share with us your specific topic, and then we can showcase you how to solve the problem by using ChatGPT, because
that makes sense.
Because ChatGPT is so powerful, literally. So when, like 2 months ago, we can share the recordings of the 2 months ago event where we did a broad, we gave everyone a broad insight, but so we showed them how to trade with ChatGPT. We showed them how to write code using ChatGPT. We showcased how to write content, articles. So ChatGPT can do all of that and way more than this. So that's why, for instance, next month's event is about how to grow your business from 6 to 7 figures by using ChatGPT, because of the power of it. And we are also putting together an application for our clients right now, where you have your financial statements, your mission statements, and then your forecast, sales, and marketing all together in one application. Everything is going to be put together in real time. So the question now is not anymore, what can you do? The question is more about, what do you want to accomplish?
One more quick question. It's so powerful. How does one protect one's intellectual property as you start to use this?
Yeah, good question. I have to say that is over. Because the intellectual, so unless you invent something and then you trademark it, that's the only way how to do that.
Okay.
And it doesn't
Good point.
cost you a fortune. So you need to come up with an idea quickly, and then you go online and get the trademark. Because the only thing you need to do is you need to start filing. That's all. When you file it, that's all what you need to do in the first place.
Yeah, that's actually a great question, Randy, and one that I have a intellectual property attorney that I'm going to follow up with and say, hey, given this implementation of ChatGPT, there's probably some business here you might want to focus in on because I can see where there would be a lot of potential desire to trademark globally some of our intellectual property. Ricky, you had your hand up. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just sitting here thinking about time-consuming things that we try to do, but they just take too long, like entering data into sales force type programs, entering data into Excel spreadsheets, all those things that, oh my gosh, I need to do some of those things, but I just don't have the time. I don't really understand where does the information, how does the information get to the system?
Okay, good question. So that's where basically we talk about connectors here. So ChatGPT can help you to build those data connectors and data connections. That's one way if you know how to do that. And the other way is that, again, you reach out to someone like us and say, hey, Conrad, this is what I want to accomplish. How do we do that? And then we build that for you, and then we just send it over to you, and you're good. Because those manual tasks, just like you said, that will be automated. This will just be integrated into a workflow. That's, by the way, also an issue in work labor for a lot of people because they are not needed anymore in the near future.
Yeah, so some of the things that we considered our value add may become automated, and we're going to have to, I think one of the things Conrad said, I'll put it in my words, is we always have to continue forward on our journey, learning new things, expanding our own thinking, because some of these things that we may have viewed as unique will have to be, will become almost automated. Casey, you had a question?
Yes. What is the cost involved if you do, if you reach out and want a particular task to be automated, to be using this particular program? What is the cost involved, and what is the commitment? Do you have to join a longevity type program?
Okay. Well, the cost depends on what needs to be accomplished. So we would need to get some more details, and then we're always happy to give a ballpark. And if the more precise it is, the more specific we are with the pricing. So then it can be a one-time project, and then we hand it over to you, and then it's totally yours. Or if you want us to take care of that, then it's a one-time thing, and then a monthly maintenance kind of project. And if you're saying, okay, this is the starting point, and then you want to move forward consistently, then that would also be a possibility, because that brings us back to what we do as well in regards to Moabit now. We help our clients to grow predictably by 1% per day. Some of our clients want to grow faster, but we're saying 1% per day because that means 37% per year because of the compound effect. But if you're more advanced and you want to grow faster with your businesses, well, then we're also more than happy to make that happen.
Let me interrupt there for just a second, because I want to, Bernie, I know you have a 10:30 hard stop and you had your hand up. So why don't you, do you have something to say or ask? You're muted, by the way.
Yeah, and while he's unmuting, I just wanted to let people know that in the chat is a direct link to the April event, the free event that we do. If you want to just click on that and register for it, that makes it quick and easy. You don't have to go back and forth with emails.
It's featured on the screen right now, Laura Lee.
Oh, okay.
Okay. On Casey's question, I pay is ChatGPT Microsoft's brand? I upgraded for $20 a month. I upgraded my ChatGPT.
Right.
Tell the team what that is. What did I do? I don't even know what I did, but I don't.
Right. Okay, good. So the point is, so the company who invented ChatGPT is OpenAI. So if you go to openai.com, that's their website. So that's for one. Now, OpenAI by itself, it's free. So they give all that technology for free to us at this point. But because of the huge amount of traffic, the millions of people who are using ChatGPT, their servers are limited, running out of capacity every now and then. And that's why they launched a $20 monthly subscription package, which means there's no difference to the free version except the fact that they guarantee you server capacity because you're paying for it. So so you get, it's basically first class, you get guaranteed access. They will not kick you out. So you know you have always access to it 24 hours.
Thank you.
And then, yeah, you're welcome. And then to your other question, what's the role of Microsoft? So OpenAI did a financing round. They were raising capital a couple of weeks ago, and Microsoft invested $10 billion. So because for Microsoft, it's finally the opportunity to get the lead in the market back from Google. So because Google owns the search engine, and that's why Google is the number one, then Microsoft tries to get back, and that's why they invest heavily in OpenAI.
That's a great answer. Yeah, that makes total sense. Anybody else before Laura Lee? I know you were waving, but I think that was just the link that we featured here. So, any other? Where should we go from here, guys? This is great, and I already know we're going to have a follow-up discussion in a future mastermind on ChatGPT once those of us that are regular members here get a little bit of experience with what we're talking about. Where else do we go?
Oh, for our links, I put my email address in there.
Well, no, I was actually more interested in some of the other. Are we just doing ChatGPT?
No, we have a little bit more to share with you.
So let's. I'm trying to give it back to you guys.
Okay. I'll just talk briefly about one thing our company is built on. Okay. When we got together at first, we all had to talk about our values, what was important to us, and because we're a group of people and we're from different countries, we all needed to mesh together. So it was very important that we talk about our values and the values of people that we wanted to work with. And one of the other things that we came up with, Conrad came up with this with the acronym T.E.R.M.S. And when we talk about terms, the T stands for time. We all know that that's no surprise to anybody. And the E in it is for energy, our own energy in whatever it is that we do. And the R is for relationships. And we have one lady in our group that she specializes in helping people deal with relationships. And we know that it's not just between you and your spouse or you and your family. all of our businesses are based on relationships. And in order to have a better running business, you really need to learn how to work with other people. And my area was the M for money because of the 25 years that I had spent in as a financial planner. So that's where my little bit more input. And of course, I had to work on relationships also. Mm-hmm. And Conrad can do all of it, but he really specializes also in S for the systems, because he has the technology, the background, the education in it to put things together for us to not only make us more efficient, but it's surprisingly, he tells me I'm good for the economy, that I've spent a lot more money on programs and systems that I don't need, that he showed me how to simplify it and cut down on my time and the cost of running a business. So, and so I'm going to turn it over to Conrad if he wants to elaborate a little bit more, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, well, terms, it has different meanings in regards to that. Terms by itself as a word means, well, what are the terms and conditions? So because a lot of people, they just do something, but they don't really figure out in the first place what they're going to accomplish, which is part of what kind of questions we are asking, because most people start with how do I do that? And actually, what we are doing is we reframe their mind. That's when mind reframing comes in, and say, no, we are not starting with how, we are starting with what do you want to accomplish and why do you want that? And then when we figure that out, then we continue with how, because how is pretty simple when you know what and why. But a lot of people start with how, and then they go in the wrong direction, and then after a while they figured out, oh, actually that's not what I really wanted to accomplish, and then they need to go back and back, but then they're already spent time, energy, and money on it, which turns out it was a nice journey, it was a nice experience, but it didn't get them where they wanted to be in the first place. So that's when terms comes in, and then we have the differentiation between your terms, so your time, your energy, your relationships, your money, your systems, and other people's terms. So, and that's when the leverage effect kicks in. Mm-hmm. Because how much time do you need? How much energy do you need? How much money do you need to spend on to build your own network, for instance, or how to build your own list? Why not finding the person who has already that list, who has already that network, who has already those relationships, and partner up with that person or company? That's when we are talking about other people's terms. So it's also, your time is limited. You have 24 hours per day. But when you partner up with the right people, time becomes unlimited. Mm-hmm. And the same with money, the same with systems and strategies, the same with energy. So you have a certain amount of energy, but when you're working together with other people, then you get a tremendous amount of additional energy. I hope that makes sense, because this is what we mean when we talk about terms. And then in regards to more value now, so we start with the end in mind. So that's why, again, we're not saying how. So when a client comes to us and say, hey, Conrad, how do we get 10% more revenue? Then I'm like, okay, so what exactly are you looking for and why? So, and the why, when the client is saying, well, we just want to make more profit, then I'm like, so why do you want to help people? Or what is the real intention behind the money? So, and when we figure that part out, then we also know who is his or their perfect client, their perfect niche client. And then it takes us to the how. And that makes it way simpler, way easier and straightforward.
That's actually one of the things I always love, and Laura Lee knows this, for those warriors that have been on my podcast and so on, is once you've kind of determine why you're doing what you're doing, the value you're going to bring to the table, and where you're going, which are the things you just talked about in your own terms. That's the most important part. How will come. It's how can I, it's not can I afford, it's how can I afford. And the thing is, if you start with limiting yourself to only what you understand how to do, then you're not going to envision the level of possibility. That's the vision warrior. That's what I do, is I want you to get clarity on why you're doing what you're doing, the value you provide, and where you're going. The how can be done. Now, it does require time, energy, relationships, money, and systems. The beauty of this is that what you really end up doing once you start on your daily journey, which is what you're describing, and by the way, I'm translating kind of into my brain, so if it's wrong from your perspective, feel free to correct me. Is that the key here is that we are on a journey, and once we know where we're going, and you're saying, I want that input, whether it's using ChatGPT or other systems, I need to know where you're going. The how is almost after the fact. And so we basically want then to have opportunity to eliminate things that don't contribute to the end vision that we have. We need to delegate, done for you, outsource to your company or some other company. We need to delegate, we need to automate, and automate is ChatGPT, other tools. But the thing I love about this is, as Laura mentioned, and we talked about, is the fact that we have we've all chased shiny objects when it comes to systems and tools and stuff. As entrepreneurs, I don't even want to go back and think of all the money I've wasted on new shiny objects that I've never put into use. So that's the alignment and the power of this discussion, and possibly the creative energy of a company like More Value Now and a tool like ChatGPT to help align our thinking to our vision. Am I making any sense? Does that sound like where you guys are headed?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And thank you for putting it in that way. Because again, it's not about the cost, it's about the value, and the cost is a portion of it. So the simple formula of profit is revenue, is sales and revenue minus expenses and costs. So, and when you run a company, then you're supposed to make profit. So, and I tell that my clients all the time, I say, there's nothing wrong if you just if you're not into not a profit, that's totally fine. That just don't set up a company, set up a nonprofit organization, or join someone else's nonprofit organization and help them. That's totally cool, and we need those people. But if you're saying you run a company, then you need to make a commitment that you want to make profit, because otherwise the setup is wrong. And then it's the same. So costs need to be in relationship, in a healthy ratio to your revenue and to your sales. And sales is the consequence of the sales is the consequence of that you provided value to someone, and that's why they purchased your service or your product in the first place. So, and then it's a percentage game at the end of the day. Because when you do know you sell a product for 100, and your cost to get that done is let's say 40 or 50, so then you do know, okay, in between, this is what's been left over, and that is totally okay. And then when you're saying, okay, this is the value you can deliver, and this is what the market is willing to pay for, and then you have to do this kind of homework first. So, and then when you figure that one out, then you can do the research and find, okay, so how can I get that? So what do I need? What are the costs? What are my expenses in regards to that? And when that makes sense to each other, then you have a go. And otherwise, you just need to go back to the drawing board and rethink the whole process. And with tools like ChatGPT, you can do this now in no time. So for instance, there's a company out there, they create plushies. And the way they do it is they use now AI technology to come up with ideas how those plushies can look like. So artificial intelligence comes up with ideas, and then what they do is they use those ideas and they put it out on the market and say, you can buy this plushie in the next 6 weeks. So they make a limited time frame. They say, we will do this only for the next 6 weeks. So if you like that, you need to sign up for it right now. So they get the sign-ups from the clients pay them. They basically they raise funds because they didn't start to produce it. And until they're sold out, then they start the production, and then they ship the product to their clients. So it's basically a zero risk kind of thing. It's a limited period of time. They sell those plushies, then they're sold out, and then they'll go back and reinvent, or then they create new ideas, and then they just do it over and over again.
Cool. So what else? We've got about probably about 10 minutes to come for content or for further discussion. Where else should we go from here, Laura Lee and Conrad? This has been great, by the way. I appreciate it's been mind expanding for me. So.
Oh, we're glad you're enjoying it. We do have a little bit more info about the company. If people would like to, we don't know where you are in your businesses right now, or the people that are watching the replays, but we have a unique product that is going to be the flagship of the company. And I'm going to let Conrad tell the details about it, but I told just a tiny little bit on Thursday to you about it. He's going to elaborate a little bit more. It doesn't take long to tell a little bit more about it, and we'll give you a special link, because David and I've gotten to know each other for a few years, and we know that he supports his followers very much, and we wanted to make sure that you understood how valuable David's connection is to all of you, and how he's attempting to support your businesses and help you. But anyway, I'm going to let Conrad tell a little bit more about the flagship product.
Well, it's not necessarily our flagship, but it is one of our services, because there are three options how we work together with our clients. The one is we do it for them. So they tell us what they want, and then we do the whole package, marketing strategies, and we even implement the whole marketing concept, financial services, corporate structuring, and things like that. So done for you. But that's not for everyone. Then, because obviously it has a price ticket. And then the other one, in the middle one, that's done with you. So the client takes care of certain parts, and we take care of other parts. So we work together closely, consistently. And then we have the third option, which is a do-it-yourself package. So basically, the client works on their business, and every now and then they have some questions that they want to get some feedback from us. So they need someone who is more like a mentor, or someone who gives some feedback or some insights from an outsider's perspective. So that's the product we're talking about right now, or the service we're talking right now. So we call it results in 22 minutes. So we created a specific framework for that, which means when you jump on a call with us, then it takes exactly 22 minutes. It has a specific time frame where we start with something and where we get you to the point. And then at the end, you get some homework, and then you do your homework. And when you completed the homework, then you can jump on the next call with us, with one of our advisors or coaches. So, and yeah, so the basic, that's how this service or product works. So you have literally unlimited coaching calls for 1 year. It just depends on you how often and how quickly you do your homework, because that's the only criteria. You cannot jump on the next call before you completed your homework, unless you have questions about the homework. Then that's kind of different. So, and because of we're here, and then what David and Laura Lee did in the past together and how they know each other. So usually what we do is we offer that service for 1 year with unlimited calls, with 22-minute calls, with a 30-minute strategy session upfront, and then another 2 30-minute calls during the year. So usually we price this for $2,997. But again, because we're here and because of David's community and that he wants to help his people, we were thinking, what could we do for you and for everyone? So we came up with a special pricing, which is very, very limited, only for the next couple of days. So the price for that one is $1,297. So you get 1 year unlimited 22-minute calls, 1 30-minute call upfront, and 2 other 30-minute calls during the year. We call it the State of the Nation. So you get some feedback and insights where you are heading towards your business before it goes somewhere you don't want to be. Yeah, that's about this. And we can put the link into the chat if that is okay with you. And so, and if you have any questions, then please let us know.
So yeah, we can get. And by the way, like I said, I appreciate. I know that we pulled this together reasonably quickly, and Laura Lee did a great job on the Warrior versus Zombie podcast, and I'm looking forward to our continued relationship. By the way, Laura, I think most everybody on here is on the Be Connected platform. And this is one of the things that one of the tools we're using to expand our connections outside of our local geographic area to now 115 countries. And so we've got Serbia and Canada, so we've got more than just Texas on here. So that's also part of our vision, is to take advantage and utilize. And since everybody's moving to Texas anyway, we figure we want to be the best at what we do. So yes, I will, Conrad, thank you. I'll feature that link. So go ahead and again, explore it. The key here is, as all of you know, my words are simple. I'm not looking to motivate you to do anything different than what you're already doing, even if I think it's the best thing for you. I want you to be inspired to do those things. And you've inspired me, Laura Lee and Conrad and Michelle, those that are here in our mastermind, to expand my thinking around automation, artificial intelligence. One of the things that many people don't even realize, that even in our network, that there is an AI component of Be Connected, which is actually the connection generator that actually will connect you to people that are aligned, as I say, with you. So that is, maybe in a way that's not a public way. They're aligned with you in the way that you think, and so on. So any other questions, thoughts? We've got about a few minutes. We will be having a mastermind, just in the form of announcements. We will be having a mastermind next Tuesday, same time, same channel. And we will be having another Warrior versus Zombie podcast this Thursday. Alan Stevens is coming to us from New South Wales in Australia. So that episode will be live on this platform at 4 p.m. as opposed to the normal 11 a.m. because of the time difference. It'll be 8 a.m. I'm doing it at 4 p.m. on Thursday. That'll be 8 a.m. on Friday for him. So it will be a little different channel if you choose to see how the sausage is made on that podcast and join us live like Laura Lee and I did last week. So any other questions? Our normal networking meeting, hybrid meeting?
I have a quick question, a quick comment. Make sure that people put in the coupon Vision Warrior to get the pricing that was quoted for you, because it's not the normal pricing.
Yeah, if we do have somebody, and that would also apply for those watching this in replay, just make sure you use that. So we've talked about everybody's, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday we had there was a mastermind on another group talking about saving money, and that's a beautiful thing. But I think the real key is value. Considering your time and your money as your most valuable as your investment, not looking at things in a area of scarcity and so on. So if it makes sense, it makes sense. If it inspires you, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. We don't do this for the purpose, but we always offer people that take their most valuable asset, which is their time. Since we don't pay speakers for this mastermind, I know maybe Laura Lee, I didn't tell you that, but we don't pay you guys, but we do make an opportunity for them to offer things to us that we might not otherwise get. So thank you for the discount for those that might be interested in it. And any other thoughts or questions, either from Laura Lee, Conrad, or anybody else for that matter? We're getting ready to land the plane, as I say. We got 5 minutes. Well, you guys are quiet all of a sudden.
Well, I would like to say that I found this technically fascinating. I'm an engineer by degree, and I was riveted to my screen the whole time, and I wish that I could figure out how to use it.
Well, yeah. we are more than happy to give you more insights and details to that, Randy.
Thank you.
Just feel free to join our Telegram channel and join us on our monthly webinars and so on. And if you have other questions, please send them over to us.
Thank you.
By the way, in case you don't know anybody, Telegram is just another text, chat kind of thing. It's supposed to be more encrypted on both ends. So, but just go Google it. You'll find it.
Right.
So I saw a lot of things on the internet when I was looking at this, where students were saying, "Will my professor know I use this?"
Yes. Yeah. They're actually coming up with programs in the academic space. I was reading something on that to detect if it's in the voice of the student. So that'll be an interesting thing to see, and the other problem, it's not a problem per se. It's just the other thing. It will go out and get information that's current on the internet, and you've got to be careful that you're not using the words of your competitor sometimes, especially you might be using the voice of your number one competitor in the market if you're not careful. So there's some fascinating things like
you got intellectual property issues potential.
Well, again, and to Conrad's earlier point, this is some work, in my opinion, for AI, or for IP attorneys to really take advantage of, and for people to be aware of, that if you've got some great ideas, that whether ChatGPT helped you come up with them or not, you want to make sure that you, I was going to ask, I thought Ricky would ask, can it write songs for me? So I would say, okay, go to write a song in the, I'm going to go to ChatGPT. One of the first things I'm going to do is write me a song with this message in the voice of Ricky Jean Wright and see what happens.
Get thee behind me, Satan.
Yeah, you can with the new version with ChatGPT 4. Now it can write songs for you.
All right. Okay, Ricky, I don't need you anymore.
Okay, well, I'm about to turn this off.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm teasing you.
Yeah. So no. So that's where the power kicks in. And by the way, that's also something people may not know. Even when you ask the same question over and over and over again, you get always a different answer from ChatGPT. Not about what it means, but the way it's been worded. So it will always be a unique answer.
That's fascinating.
Just keep that in mind too. So when all of us ask ChatGPT the same question, none of us will get the exact answer.
Isn't there also a backup software or some way that you can tell whether it's plagiarism or not?
What do you mean by backup software in regards to that?
I don't know. I thought I had heard that you could do a check after you put your program, after you put together whatever it is that you're putting together. So I will be using this for my marketing. So.
Well, backup, basically, the only thing what you need is you want to copy and paste, or you want to save the conversation. That's all you need. And we have a tool for that, so you can save your conversations, and then you can export it and import it next time, and then you just run it again, and you get the same kind of quality back from ChatGPT as an answer. You might not get exactly the same words back, but you get the same logic and the same kind of outcome back.
Okay, well, can't you go onto the internet now and see if something is already been written? I mean, it's already been said that way. I mean,
Yeah, you can ask ChatGPT for that. So it will come up with the answer if this does exist already somewhere, somehow.
Okay, all right. Okay, I thought it was a different software, but again, we're back to chat.
Well, there are programs out that have been around prior to ChatGPT that they use in academia. I mean, I ran a school for a while, so I mean, there were things that we could run a person's term paper or their document through to identify the likelihood that it has been copied, because obviously copying other people's content is not a new concept. So
okay, so I mean, ChatGPT cannot tell you that this has not been copied. I mean, they have to be getting their information from somewhere, right? No.
Yeah, well, ChatGPT, what they did the last couple of years, they feeded basically ChatGPT with all the knowledge that is somewhere available to us.
Right.
And they keep doing that. So even when ChatGPT does not know everything as of now, but the more
it's learning all the time.
Yes. So, and again, they started in 2017. They started 6 years ago with that project. So if you can imagine that they were able to feed ChatGPT with everything of our whole planet in 4 years, then I guess you can imagine.
Oops. We lost him there for a second. He was just saying, can you imagine if, you're putting all that information in, and they just updated it because it was only up to 2019 or right. 2020, and now it's up to almost the end of, it's the end of 21 for sure, and maybe even some of 2022. But anyway, it is, I'm enjoying the conversation. I'm enjoying playing with it and using it. It's blown me away what's available. Go ahead, Conrad.
Well, before he does that, let me say, number one, again, I want to thank you guys for being here. We are officially at the top of the hour. So those of you who have to go on to other meetings, you're welcome to do so. If you want to hang around for a bit, I'll keep the meeting room open for further conversation. But I know I'm always very judicious about making sure we don't take more of your most valuable asset than we committed to start with. By the way, for those that are still here, like Ricky and Randy and anybody else, Edna, is this a conversation from a mastermind standpoint that's worthy of some continued discussion? Randy, Ricky, in particular, my two wingmen here. What do you guys think? Okay, I got 2 thumbs up from Ricky.
Yeah, and I would, I think what I would look at are finding unique applications where we could apply this.
Okay, so maybe
for our members.
Well, maybe what we can do is a subsequent mastermind and remind me tomorrow in our big meeting to mention that we're going to have a follow-on discussion where people can bring their ideas and their questions about applying ChatGPT and others to the mastermind. And if Conrad and Lauralee and others are so gracious to join us again, we might be able to explore those. And maybe between now and when we do that in a week or two, we'll have some people that have been playing with ChatGPT or having some conversations with More Value Now or whatever, and want to explore that in addition to obviously their monthly chat that they have. I'm not trying to
almost sounds like sci-fi, David.
Well, it is, what's the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
Right. Yeah.
The ARPANET or whatever.
Terminator.
Yeah. So the machines are taking over. So,
yeah.
And Conrad's the leader, is from what I can determine right now.
He's gonna take over the world.
I'm putting that out there. So, okay. Anyway, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. So, but I'm going to shut up. And any other thoughts, guys? Michelle? Thank you for.
We thank you for your audience to listen, to be entertained with learning new information.
We're all geeks.
Yeah, well, thank you for having us, David.
Thank you.
And we're happy to be back whenever the time is right.
So the replay of this will be up on our Be Connected channel as well as on my YouTube channel. So for those that are seeing this in replay, there'll be some relevant links here. And there are also links to our Warrior Networking Be Connected group that'll be on that as well. So feel free to reach out. If you have any questions, it's very easy to connect to me. And I'm sure that I'll make sure if it's a topic for Lauralee or Conrad or Michelle or anybody here, that's what I do.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Conrad. And
thank you, guys.
Lauralee.
Appreciate it.